Deb with Clarity Coaching, and this video is in response to a request for a description of Self-Preservation 6. So here we go. So as you probably know, 6 is the loyalist on the Enneagram. Other names for the 6 are the questioner, the loyal questioner, the trooper. And when you combine that with self-preservation, which is attention to the physical environment and the physical body, you get a 6 who is looking to create stability and consistency in the physical world. So if you know much about 6s, you know that their characteristic passion or Achilles heel is fear or anxiety. And so that often shows up for self-preservation 6s around the body. So they would be the most likely of the 6s to be concerned about issues related to physical safety, such as whether you're walking through the right neighborhood at night, locking the door, turning off the oven, anything that's related to their physical health and well-being. And so often you'll find self-preservation 6s wanting to create security and safety in these areas as well. So I'm just thinking of some clients I've had who are self-preservation 6s and pretty happy in their work. And so I'll just give you a few examples. By no means does this mean these are the only options for self-preservation 6s, but it seems to work for these individuals I've worked with. So one self-preservation 6 I have is a massage therapist who specifically targets prevention and making sure the body is working well. Another client who's a self-preservation 6 who's a doctor, internal medicine. I have another who's a bookkeeper, making sure that your financials are healthy for small businesses. So really the focus is around creating consistency and health and longevity in some part of the physical world. In more of the social arena, or in terms of like friends, relatives, that sort of thing, self-preservation 6s are very warm people, and you'll see this if you read anything on the Enneagram about self-preservation 6s in terms of how friendly and warm they can be. It doesn't necessarily mean they're super extroverted. In fact, self-preservation can lend itself more towards an introverted person than extroverted. But it's just that there's this dynamic where 6s don't want to put themselves at risk, particularly self-pres. And so if they're friendly, then that is going to reduce the likelihood that someone will create a problem for them. All 6s I would describe as somewhat conflict averse, but with self-pres you would see that a little bit stronger than with others. So not even just outright conflict, but even just harsh or challenging conversations with people can be something that's a real cause of anxiety for them. What else should I say about them? I think the most important thing to pay attention to is that the physical health, well-being, and safety for self-pres 6 is really important. So if there's a self-pres 6 that you know and love, be really careful about not messing with their rhythms around that. Every self-pres 6 I know has a pretty consistent routine around locking up at night, for example, or even how they prepare to go out into the world. A lot of these individuals have kind of a my home is my castle mentality, very happy at home and want it to be as safe and nurturing as possible. So if there's a self-pres 6 that you love, join them in creating those rhythms that feel soothing and positive to them. Gently help them try new experiences, usually by doing it with them, but don't push them towards that. And what else should I say? Probably the most important thing I'd want to say is they're just lovely people. I mean, when you think of the dependable, loyal friend you can always count on to do what they say they're going to do and be responsible, self-pres 6 is really what I think of. In many ways, they are kind of the girl next door, boy next door person that is in integrity and honesty. There can be a tendency in the career space to get a little bit overloaded. This is generally true for 6s, but particularly for self-pres. Get a little bit overloaded with different tasks and have a lot of trouble delegating. And so ending up with their fingers in a lot of different pies, for lack of a better way to say that, which can dilute their effectiveness because they're not putting all of their effort into their main talent area. Generally speaking though, Self-Pres 6s, their personality revolves around creating that sense of health, well-being, and stability in the physical realm. So that's either the physical body or the physical environment. And when I say physical environment, that can be usually like the world of business and commerce. So those are my thoughts. Any specific questions, be sure to let me know, and any other videos you'd like, let me know that as well. Thanks.